working in a coherent way as a country between counties and national government, and then rogue investors find an in-between route to find safety. And therefore, I agree with you. Some counties actually have sufficient revenue sources to run their counties. But that aspect is undermining it. I'm sure you have seen Amboseli in the headlines, but we'll get to that conversation when we come.
Okay. Senator Sifuna.
Chair, there's something you have said that is borderline upsetting to me. Whether indeed this system called devolution was not something that Kenyans gave unto themselves, and whether it is not a constitutional imperative. Personally, and I'll get into a lot of problems, but we have to say what we have to say.
We all get a lot of problems for defending devolution.
Governor, your problems will be more than mine. I'm just saying.
Let me be the regulator on yes, how much problem it will cause.
Chair, if something is a constitutional imperative, and you have a national executive there, and we've gone through this conversation, for instance, Governor, you raise a valid point. We are still using the audited accounts of 3-5 years ago. I did the math, it is about 500 billion behind, which is denying counties, if you applied just 15% on that, almost 60 billion Kenya shillings, and it will resolve some of these issues. Secondly, there's a question of disbursements in terms of the regularity and predictability of that, disbursement. We have argued in the Senate that that disbursement schedule that we pass is of no use, because it's supposed to give governors and county executives some level of comfort that on the 15th of each month we will receive exchequer release. But when John Bahari, for instance, comes to the Senate, he says that, oh, that thing is just there as a guide, and that Treasury has to look at exchequer and so on and so forth. But we don't hear the same complaints when it comes to national government entities. Somehow their budgets never delay. I've never had the State House Comptroller, your friend, crying that State House has not received. In fact, the reports we see is that they have actually expended their monies way in advance, 9 months into the financial year. So we have tried to push that argument, Governor, that somehow that national treasury thinks it's a national government treasury, that the priorities of national government institutions actually are higher placed than the county governments. Some of us believe that it doesn't matter which geniuses you have in the county governments. If the national government is out to frustrate devolution, they will do it. And you will find these people sometimes struggling. Just even here in Nairobi, Senator, if you don't know when you're going to be paid, how do you know when you will pay your rent, how your kids will go to school? It is very difficult to plan, which is why we believe, some of us, the solution to devolution, the biggest threat to devolution is at State House, and that's where we're going, so that we can be able to resolve that problem.
Yeah, I think now you're getting into problems. Let Cherargei regulate it.
Chair, you know, in our standing orders, there is what we call relevance. I don't think this committee is a platform for campaigns, but let me leave it there. I know Sifuna has other better forums than using this committee to advance his own agenda, but we will listen to him and we'll answer him in other fora, not here. Chair, my only concern was this 340 million that was in this annex number 2. And Governor, when we'll come to receiver of revenue, I will also have something to say, especially on the issue of Magadi and Amboseli, but I hope when we are on receiver on revenue, Chair, you'll have. But my only concern, if you look at the pending balance as of 30th June 2025, the office of the county attorney was 0. Until some time, they got a pending balance of 340 million for 9,155. And we know the issue of contingent liabilities and legal pending bills. You remember Nairobi, one of our colleagues had a pending bill of 1.1, was it 1.1 billion legal fees? So I really want to understand, Governor, what is it? Because it's the highest pending balance as 30th June 2025 in the year under review. And then there is your office of the governor was nil until it appeared with 35,004,479. Give us the justification. And what we call County Public Service Board at 000 until it appeared with 30,382,667. That will be re-emphasizing what the justification of this growth. Secondly, I don't know whether I heard your CCM that on the settling of pending bills below 1 million, it should be given priority. in as much as they might be the aging analysis that has come from different year. Finally, I've heard your reason is on delay exchequer releases and shortfall in revenue. I don't know, it's hard to tie up since we have not gone to receiver of revenue. But I thought the budget is based on the planning and program based in the budgeting. So that if you are giving a project, you give with the resources that you have. And that is why there was this issue of EGP. And we were arguing that you cannot procure without having resources. So what do you have to say about that? On the issue, finally, Chair, while I agree counties are struggling with pending bills, I know that it's approaching 200 billion. The Constitution is very clear, Article 219. When money is passed, it should be released without undue delay. And you remember the former CS Ukuri Yatani, we had to censure him in the last session for delay your former colleague Ukuri Yatani. So it's a constitutional issue. But on the issue of latest audited accounts, I think as a parliament we should blame ourselves because it is the National Assembly who does that job. It is not you as the governors or as the Senate. So we should blame ourselves, especially our colleagues in the law house, of the latest audited accounts. Because you have to appreciate one thing, by the way, let me add this. Us in the Senate chair, and you are aware, we were pushing for more than 450 billion. It is after the member of ODMSG Sifuna went and decided that the counties must be given 428 billion. And they were adding 1 billion each, 1 billion after every time. So I think we have a broader. I'm saying.
You are making a very good point, but I think you are losing it.
I'm saying as a
with
Senate,
that reference to ODM.
I'm saying the member of Sifuna because he's still the SG unless he resigned. So the point I'm trying to make is that because I heard him saying former party when he was congratulating the MCS or former. So, Chair, what I'm trying to say, let us leave that one, ignore that, Chair, is as a Senate, we have really tried to ensure that there is enough resources for counties. But the question is, even if we allocate, is it viability of getting your own money in good time to ensure you expend before the end of financial year? I think that's the conversation you should advise your colleagues, especially when you are COG retreat, so that we can have a united force to make a better devolution. So we'll do my 3 questions.
I think you asked specific questions on growth in the county attorney, the governor's office, and the county public service board. I think let's just deal with that, Governor.
Thank you, Chair. Let me ask the county attorney who is here to speak into that. And how does he step out? Sorry, Chair. I will